Minesweeper, a pretty old classic game that most people might know, and it looks really simple, so I made it in Java. Hi, I'm Kingston. I've been taking a Java learning course. It has been quite simple, but I can't say the same for my classmate though. Therefore, to keep myself busy, I made Minesweeper. It sucks, as it is played on command prompt. However, after checking a bit of the course content, I found out you can make UI with Java. Damn. Well, time to remake the whole thing. But first, let me consume this learning material real quick. Um, give me a moment. Okay, done eating it. Before we start coding though, an idea of the visual layout is needed. So I'm gonna have two labels on the top to show the number of mines and the number of flag pasted. The bottom part will have lots of buttons in the grid layout, and that's it, I think. But it feels like something is missing. Anyways, from here we can already see the UI variables we need to make, such as the two panels, with one storing the two labels and the other storing all the buttons. Now let's start coding. I'll start with the buttons as that is the main part of the program. On the last Minesweeper I made, I used two 2D array to store values for each space. One was an integer array that stores the user field of each space. 0 to 9 represents 0 to 9, -1 for blanks, 10 for flags, and 11 for mines. Don't ask why there's a 9. I also don't know why I added that since 9 is impossible. As for the other array, it was storing booleans, which are for the mines. However, I would already need a 2D array of JButton, and one of the other array has a direct function with JButton, specifically the icon of the button. Therefore, instead of jumping between these arrays, I made a class called Tile. This class inherits JButton with variable visual node and bomb. So it can be a button and store some variable in it, which can make the code slightly clearer. Alright, speaking of buttons, in order for the button to look more interesting than just text on a box, I made some art for them in Aspect. I made the 0 to 8 tiles, 9 does not exist, the flag, and the mine. I tried to make the number look like it was stuck up. As for 0 though, I tried to make it harder to see since it is often left blank in Minesweeper. I think I did a pretty good job. Now let's see how they look. Why there is an outward bulge. Oh, it's preferred size. What size for then in JButton? I then added the labels with their corresponding image and the base UI is finished. Now let's make it functional. Let me just open my last program and copy, paste. Yeah, that's kinda it, since function-wise it will be practically the same as my last program. However, I'll describe how some of the methods work. Starting with something simple, the isOnBoard method, as the name suggests, give it a potential tile location and it will tell you whether it's on the playfield or you're just stupid. It's straight up just a single line of logic code. It is used to prevent some array index error. There are also count bomb and count flag, which both count the number of mines and the number of flags around a given tile respectively. Next up are the three mine methods, sort in B, random bees, and set up bombs. By the way, B stands for bombs here. For those methods, I'll just ask you, how do we set up the mines? We can't just select a random tile to place, which kinda works, but mine placement could overlap, which means the amount of mine on the field could vary from the number of mines you want to place to 1 if you somehow dislocate. Of course, some randomness on the mine amount can be good, but what I want is a consistent number of mine on the board. Therefore, instead of that, I used the number of shift to place mines, which is what the sort in B method does, with some extra conditions. It will start at the top left corner and start to shift right based on the number of shifts. If it shifts off the board, it will go back to the left column but go down one row and then continue shifting. Before shifting, it will check the tile is currently on. If it's a mine, it gets to shift for free. If not, it will reduce the number of shift it can do by 1. This will make each mine placed on a unique tile, making the number of mines on the board consistent. However, there is still a problem. Assume we finish the program and we try to play it. This will happen quite often, where the first tile is just straight up a mine and you lose. Or the first tile is a number tile and you need to gamble again, which isn't really fun, so we want to give the player a bit more advantage by giving them more tiles to work with. How? Well, one simple way is to make the first tile always a zero tile, so the player will have at least 4 tiles to work with, and due to the nature of the slot in B method, it's really simple. We just place mines at the first tile the player press and the tile around it. Hmm? You're asking me why am I sabotaging the player? No, I'm not. We will remove those mines after we finish placing the other mines, but while they are still there, the slot in B method can place mines here, making there still a consistent amount of mines while leaving a zero tile on the first tile to press. Speaking of pressing tiles, here are the button methods, starting with the most important one, the date method, which reveals the tile content in a given tile, with it giving you a game over if you press a mine, or a number based on the number of mines around it. However, to make the game faster, I made it so if the tile date is a 0, it will date the tile around it too, creating a chain reaction of 0 tile popping out. Another additional function is if you're confident with your flag placements, you can press a number tile and it will take all the tiles around it that are not flagged, which can speed up the game a lot. Later on, after playing the game a bit, I did notice that it made me quite paranoid that clicking a number tile that has no flags around it can instantly give you a game over. Therefore, I added an additional condition that checks the number of flags around it. Now you can't fail from human error, but human logic error, or gambit. Alright, in order to actually win the game, I needed to make a check at the end of the method for winning the game, which just check if all non-bomb tiles are dug up. Next up is the method mark, which places flags. Um, wait, wait. How do I switch between digging and placing flags? Oh, I need a button for that. Oh, I'm silly me. I'll just add it right here and done. As for the mark method itself, it's really simple. If the tile is blank, change it into a flag tile, vice versa. And finally, the game over method. This method just ends the game by showing all tiles and a message pane to tell you that you win or not. This also changed the mode switcher button into a reset button, which let you restart a game quickly. Okay, that will be most of the method. Anyways, my whole program will be in the description below, and if you have any suggestions for what I should make, please comment below. I shall go back to playing games.